and welcome to FMA Talk Live. I'm your host, Datu Tim, and this is my wonderful co-host.
Hey, PG Taz here. Welcome.
So I am trying something new. StreamYard has a dark mode.
Oh.
So now I don't have that blasting in the face that from the monitor. So hopefully that'll work out better. Of course, now the graphic I pulled up is going to be there. So we're also transmitting transmitting.
Yes.
We're also on Instagram. We're seeing how that's going to go today. And we're doing two new things everything. We're trying to do something new. So we have a section for seminars today, upcoming events, as well as the words of the day. So we're going to start teaching Tagalog as best as we can for a pair of putis, and we'll go over that. And the issue was years ago when people went in a different direction. I would get communications from people about events and all this other stuff, and they would sign their names, and they'd sign them incorrectly, or they sign their ranks, and like they put down Delawa, and Delawa might sound like there's an E in there, but it's all A's.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd sign say, oh, here's my name, and then Lacan Delawa with an E. And I'm like, and I wanted to, I really wanted to correct them, but because things were so intense at the time, I chose not to, because back then I would say something and people, even today, people would go out of their way to get butthurt on something. So, doing my best to. So back then I just let things slide. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to have the words of the day. We're going to talk about upcoming events, and then today's topic. Actually, today's topic should not be a long topic. So I've got comments coming in on Instagram. So this may have been a good thing. Got 9 people watching over there. It's funny. So last week's show, 4,500 views on Facebook. So we're crushing it. Social media has been going nuts. I'm going to go over into that profile so I can look this up real quick, because I don't want to misquote. So let me get over here, and we are live. Yeah, it's saying its thing. Okay, here we go. Let's look at last week's show real quick. I also made some announcements earlier on a reel, which I normally don't do reels because I have my social media stuff going there. So inside of last week's show, 5,600 plus views on Facebook.
Nice.
Or on my personal page on Facebook, which has crushed it, So, I'm very pleased with that, and hopefully we can keep that synergy going. See if I can do this here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, put a little more light on this. Yeah, it's probably doing well. Okay, so let's get caught up here. Rich says hello.
Hey, Mr. Rich, how you doing?
And good day to Mr. Hartman, Mr. Botting. That's from Christelle. Okay, cool. So, I want to talk about a couple different things. So first of all, let's start right up into our new thing, which is the words of the day.
Like
so
Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah, there you go. Let's not do the Pee Wee Herman thing.
Right.
So I have 5 words of the day. And listen, if you're into martial arts for the physicality, you don't care about the culture and stuff like that. Hey, listen, I get it. I'm not. If you're just here for combatives, I got you. But for those who want a little more, we thought we would share. So such a. I didn't even get a chance to go over it with Ty today, but I've got some words. So we're going to go over the 5 colors. So as a Filipino martial artist, I think you should know 5 colors. So red, white, blue, and yellow. That's the flag of the Philippines. and then black, which is one of the most colors used, the most popular color used. So red, white, and black are used a lot in their uniforms. If we're talking about Remy, the original uniform was done after the farmers. White tops, red pants. That's what they would wear in the fields. Eventually came to the States. He started going to a black uniform. So, and we're going to do the pronunciation the best I can. I'm going to present. Share screen. I'm going to share a window. And here we go. Look at this. I even color coordinated stuff. So, red, white, and blue. Okay, red. Pula. White, puti. Azul is blue. So these are the main colors of the flag. Now, I got to go to the other screen to get there. Hold on. I got too smart for my own, too clever for my own doing. So that's that. So let's go to our next color. Yellow and black. Oh, actually, that's wrong. It's not. It's a team.
A team or yep.
Yeah, that is incorrect right there. Puti. I thought I changed that. So a team is black, and Dilau is yellow. And I thought I was doing really good. Yeah, Dilau is the yellow. So dang it. Let me get the proper proper spelling of black. And I always joke, it's a team, me, a team.
ITIM.
Okay, ITIM.
Yeah, team.
Okay, ITIM. Yes. So that's okay. So it is what it is. So these are, like I said, we're gonna next week. I think we'll do numbers. We can go 1 through 10 and talk. Well, we'll do 1 through 12 because we'll show actually we'll 1 through 20, but we'll show you how it's done. I know. Sorry. I said it though. I corrected myself. Okay.
And everybody else gets the numbers will be fun because everybody else gets the pronunciation wrong on those. On the wrong syllable.
So basically it's 1 through 10, and then it's 11 through 19, and then 20 is a different way of pronouncing. So, and we'll get into it. It'll, you'll go 1 through 10, and then you'll repeat them with a prefix up to 19, and then 20 will be a whole new word, which will prefix the next series of 1 through 9. So, and we can get into that later. I don't want to ruin it, but So hopefully I didn't do a bonehead move on the next one. I want to talk about the upcoming events before we get into today's topic. So I'm going to share the screen. We're going to go with the easiest thing. Here we go. Boom. The first thing that's coming up, the instructor development camp. That is this weekend. Unofficial start is Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That'll be at the World Mountain Race Alliance headquarters at Horizon Martial Arts.
Yep.
So that's the 4th through the 6th. The next event, actually, they're 2 the same weekend. So there is the annual FMA thing fling. It's the fall fling.
Right.
So
they're combined this year. Spring and fall in one location.
Yep. So October 19th, it is in the Providence Park Large Pavilion. That's the same one we've been using lately, right?
Yeah, by the field. Yep.
Love that. I won't be there, unfortunately, but this is a great one because the following weekend the same weekend I'm hosting the Buffalo Niagara Lob and Lauro, the Queen City Lob and Lauro.
Right. That'll be nice.
So that'll be fun. So it's a karate tournament with stick fighting in it, or stick fighting with karate fighting in it as well.
There you go.
So the next thing is the Buffalo Niagara Martial Art Festival number 6. And it was just confirmed. I've got Smiling Sam Alvey, who is a former UFC fighter and the current Karate Combat heavyweight champion. I've got other instructors to be added to that. That's a one-day event. That's November 2nd at the Horizon Martial Arts, the headquarters for the World Martial Alliance. And then the following weekend, PG Ty and I along with others. PG Craig and others will be at the FMA Collaborative and Modern Arnis New England camp, or the old Massachusetts camp, but different. That's the 9th and 10th in Salem, Massachusetts. And then from there, we have a special holiday seminar. This is going to be free. It's a yearly thing we do, but I'm going to drop the information. It's first come, first serve. We are limited to 50 people in person, and there's a limited number of online registrants as well. There is no video download of this. It is a 3-hour event, and it's PG Ty, PG Craig, and myself. There may be others. This is a pay it forward type event we've been doing for years. Took a little break during COVID. Actually, we did the first online seminar before COVID. So we were actually probably the first online seminar period, at least Filipino martial arts. And like 2 weeks after ours, Defense Lab came out and did theirs. So, so we beat them to the punch. And then I don't have the Philippines. That's the camp. I'll have that up next week. The Philippines trip in February. So we're doing our camp over there. And then, of course, there's the 25th anniversary camp of the World Modern Race Alliance. And we've got a bunch of instructors on that. That'll be the 16th through the 18th of May at the headquarters. So it's the Modern Race's 4 horsemen, PG Ty, myself, PG Craig, and Chad. Grandmaster Bobby Tabuada will be making an appearance. We also have Mike and May Williams. Not only do they do Modern East, but they also do C-Lot. And we never know who else may show up to be sharing stuff. Plus, PG Ty and I, we're going to be celebrating our 60th birthdays. Mine's a couple weeks before. His is a couple weeks after. So we're going to have a big time with that, too. So it'll be a good time.
Good job not dying so far.
Yep. So there we go. That is the upcoming events. And let me see here. Let's get caught up on this. I like George Carlin and the 5 words they say on TV. Black hole, red, green, dream. Become a chameleon. All right. Bhuti in India is food, I thought. I don't know. It's white for Filipino. Tagalog. Yeah, I know that. And jingle sticks. Okay.
For the December event.
Yes. So, I did a post a long time about this, and it was funny because when I said it, I didn't realize on how many feathers I ruffled, which is okay because that's who I am, right? So I thought we would bring this up today. I think I got a good topic for next week too. So, but so basically, there's a lot of people talk about if you swing the stick, it's the same as swinging a blade and vice versa. If you know the stick, you know the blade, and I actually agree and I disagree with that, and we'll get into why. But basically, it was Michael Hirono was actually called me. I was like, damn, I can't believe you said that. And my comment was like, am I wrong? He goes, no. Like, I'm just surprised the way you said it. I'm like, well, I don't mix words. And as I did the write-up for the show that, there's always a good cop and a bad cop on the show. We already know which role I play. I'm the bad cop. Actually, I just cut through the minutia and just call it the way I see it so there's no misunderstandings on anything we're talking about. Okay, and here we go. Maganda Gabi. Thank you, Carl. And then Christelle, which I'm trying to find her on Facebook. Well, I know that Mr. Hartman, I think I saw you here in Cebu in the Philippines a long time ago. You were with Jim, but yes, I was. And you know who else would have been there? Oh, wait. Were you on that trip? Ty would have been there too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Yeah.
That's when Jim Bobby and Jim Nick picked us up at the airport.
Okay. It's nice to see you guys teach FMA and spread FMA around the entire world. Thank you so much. Listen, Christelle, if we had the film crew, that was definitely it. So yeah. as I'm still trying to find out where this person is. So maybe it's not one of my friends. Maybe I have to look up a different way here. Oh, and that's probably it. Okay. And that's what I should have done the first time. Okay. So, so what are your thoughts there, Ty, on that comment about if you learn the stick, you know the blade. If you know the blade, you know the stick. What are you thinking there?
I think they both give you some insights into the other, but I would not say, hey, if you master the stick, you can do everything the same with the blade, and vice versa. I think there's some neat things that either can help each other with some awareness, right? And we'll probably get into that. But I don't think it's the same. It's useful, but not the same.
Well, right off the bat, when we're using a stick, we thrust with a stick, but that's because we're usually training Filipino martial artists against other Filipino martial artists. I mean, a stick is a club. I mean, and what do you do with the club? You beat people with it. You know, you beat them down, you hit them. It's not that same kind of thing, you know. And personally, there's definitely wrong one. There's definitely similarities, but at the end of the day, when you stab with a stick, it doesn't puncture the skin. It doesn't get stuck in the person. It pushes them away, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could do an augmented knee strike up under the chin. That'll probably penetrate, but yeah, it's not gonna get stuck, and it's certainly not going to be the same kind of thing.
You know, flipping it around, you know, so sticks cut flesh. I'm sorry, sticks break bones. Steel cuts flesh. That's rule number one. Rule number two is you can't change rule number one. So the problem is if you're using a stick all the time, you're hitting everywhere on the body, and there's no repercussion there's no repercussion to you besides legal things of when you hit somebody. It's all good. I mean, if I hit a bone area, I can destroy the bone. If I hit a fleshy area, I can cause spasms and or possibly rupture internal organs. There is no downside. Now, granted, there may be too much flesh in an area where it may not have the same. You might not be generating enough power to really have that kind of impact to drop someone. But it's not. It's not the same. You know, if I stab you with a stick, it's most likely pushing you away. If I stab you with a blade, it goes in and it may not come out depending on where I stab. With a blade, you have to worry about bones. You know, and I understand it's a movie, or I mean a TV series. And when I say this, that's why I really like Walking Dead, because when they do their stuff, other than the fact that they're zombies, but you never know. Bath salts in Florida, who knows? Or if you're down in Nolans, you don't talk about the voodoo down there. But the thing here is, at least once a season, when they put a tool in the head of a walker, it gets stuck. And if I take an edge weapon like a machete or something like that, and I pop someone in the head with it, there's a good chance it's not coming out. What are you thinking?
No, I think that's good. For me, one of the things I like to highlight on stick versus blade is the drawing, right? So you're not going to try to slash with the blade, with the stick. And that's where your power generation doesn't quite hit. And as you know, the drawing that I want to do with the blade may be coming to me, or it may be going into them, right? I may be drawing either way if I'm going to do the slicing. Neither one of those make any sense with the stick. And also that will change your angle of your impact with your tool, right? Instead of hitting into with the body of the stick, you'd be slashing across. And that's totally different, right? The only other thing I'd say is if you have a chopping blade, right? Some of that may be similar to your stick. And it may help you because now you'll have your palm behind your striking, right? So it'll give you edge awareness. The your awareness of your palm, all those kind of good things. And I'm sure we'll get more into that. But I think there's some good things and some bad things about saying they're equal.
Well, I mean, okay, you talked about it right there now. And I've got as a whole, I disagree with using one is the same as the other.
Right.
But there's a caveat in there, and I'm going to save that for later.
All right.
I don't want us, we might actually be thinking the same thing too, because we didn't rehearse this today. We just started talking. So at the end of the day, I know when I put a blade in my hand, I am doing a lot more cuts and things that I had never done before, because, so when we talk about this, let's think about it in a completely different thing. So let's think of these as physical tools. So what kind of tool does, and if we're talking real life tools, what a stick, what kind of tool will a stick simulate? So if you're in a workshop, you've got saws, drills, hammers, crowbars, drill presses, planers, chisels, you name it, you got it in there. Socket wrenches. What's a tool that a stick could represent? What's one tool that a stick could be similar to?
I mean, there's a couple. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say I know the one you're thinking of, and it does hold true. But I like to start with some others. So obviously, a club, a baseball, right? That's a different tool, not in the shop.
Well, that's a hammer,
a hatchet, and then a hammer, right?
Yeah. Well, so, but the one I'm thinking about, the other thing, it's also a crowbar or pry bar.
Sure. Yep.
Because when we do some of our disarms,
right,
we're doing prying disarm. So a stick, to me, the two tools I look at, it is a crowbar of some sort, and it's a hammer. Because the thing with a hatchet, it would get stuck.
True. Yep.
So, and the stick isn't going to get stuck in a body like that. Unless you sharpen it and then stab it, and then that's a whole nother story, because the body can be like it could get stuck. Oh yeah, and Rich said he was there as well, Christelle.
Yep.
To the
Craig.
to Phil. Yep, and Craig and stuff.
Yep.
So so then so we just sat there and said what a stick could be. The stick could be a couple different things, but ultimately those are the two primaries. So Ty, what could a blade be? I can think of two, primarily one, but there's potentially two.
One, well, I mean, there are tools you use in your shop that are sharp, right? So that would be obvious. But I mean, a saw would be one.
Saw,
right?
There we go.
And a pick.
A pick. So depending on, and that's it. So an ice pick or a punch.
Right.
So there's the stabbing portion of things.
Right.
And the other one would be a saw. So what do we do with a hammer? We hit. It's impact based. Okay. What do we do with the saw? We cut, we draw. So I'm constantly putting the blade, when I'm using my bolo or a knife, I don't hammer, because so when I use the blade in a hammering motion, it becomes the hatchet.
Right.
And what does hatchets do? They get stuck in wood. You have to wiggle them out. But if I can put it on a skin and draw it, you know.
If you chop cleanly through, like it's on a wooden block, then maybe that's fine.
Yeah, if you had enough, and you'd have to have enough mass for that, right?
Right.
Hey, what is force, by the way? How do we define it? Because someone called me on. I want to make sure I get this right.
I mean,
super genius.
Mass times acceleration, but you have to say the mass of what and the acceleration of what, and people get lazy about that.
Okay, I did speed times mass, and people were,
that's momentum, mass times velocity.
Okay, so but and that would,
neither of those are good for impact. Impulse is closer.
Impulse is okay.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to, at the time I was trying to do a quick explanation of how a heavier weapon at the same speed would do more damage than a lighter tool.
Yep.
So I did force. I did the force formula wrong.
The velocity. Yeah, you did momentum. Same thing. So if you do really, really fast momentum transfer, that's what gets you. Whereas, people think about force. it could actually be force over time, and it could be spread out. So that doesn't help you too much.
And I want to get this because I saw this, and I do not want to be accused of missing out this. Francis, we would love to have Ray on. I have no plans on having him on. I just don't talk to him much.
I haven't talked to him in years.
Thing. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time. I think the last time I saw him was at the Blade Show, and that was pre-COVID. I don't think I've seen him since COVID.
Yeah, we had dinner pre-COVID as well. Yep.
So, and if anyone knows if Ray would want to be on the show, we'd love to have him. And we can make room for that one. I mean, like that one's like a no-brainer. I just get a call during the week. Hey, Ray can be on the show this Monday. Sure, we'll put him on. That's easy enough. So the problems I see when you start using, and we just talked about right there. Okay. So the proper way to use a blade is a sawing motion, unless you have enough mass and you're trying to chop through something. But then again, I would assume there needs to be enough amount of resistance somewhere that just doesn't go with the blade. So like in the movies where someone takes so every time we talk about machetes, everyone thinks they're supposed to be razor sharp. How the machete was supposed to work was go partway into the vines and dig up everything at the root. So, I mean, that's why the Marines or the U.S. Armed Forces had them in World War II, because they were fighting over Japan. They were trying to cut a path through things. And if you cleave it in two, everything is still there. They want to tear up the roots and all. So a machete in general is not meant to be sharp enough, which means swinging at someone's arm, there's probably a better chance of you breaking the bone than actually cleaving through the arm. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, yeah, so that's there. But as far as other things go, there are other aspects that we have to think about, Actually, I don't know. This isn't a huge topic for me. This is a fairly easy topic.
Well, I think there's another big one, which is if you see people that have only trained with sticks, and especially beginners, you have seen this. I know I have. A lot of times they don't know which part of the stick they want to hit with relative to their grip, right? So they sometimes will hit and disarm themselves, and they don't know why. I find that, of course, and I think you do this too, when you give someone a blade, say, hey, make sure that that's going to hit with the slicey part or the chopping part, if you want to do it as a chopper, first. And that way it lines up the stick well for the power transfer from your grip. So you don't disarm yourself, and so that your whole structure is behind the strike. I just had to have that conversation this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, actually, personally, I really like using a blade to teach proper alignment of the weapon.
Yep.
Here's the problem with a stick. It's a round surface, 360 degrees.
Yep.
Which surface area are you supposed to hit with? Now, it's easy. I have a round tool. Take this flashlight. There's nothing that indicates the proper way. Now, listen, we can hit 360 degrees on this and still make it work.
Sure.
But I'm a trained martial artist. I'm not doing that as an untrained martial artist. I thought I saw something on here. Okay, maybe not. I thought something weird. Now,
well, that, and also what is your purpose for the strike, right? If it's supposed to do blunt force trauma, you need to pretty much be behind that sucker.
So the nice thing here, actually, it was Jared Wahangi. He was in Vegas at an event I was at. He said it, and I thought it was amazing. He said, line up with the second set of knuckles.
Yep.
Okay. So when we're doing forms, because our system does forms, when we do striking or cutting styles, I like putting a blade in someone's hand, a training knife or sword, so we get the proper alignment. Because, when you use a hammer, you know exactly what surface area you're supposed to hit with. When you have a pick, you know exactly what surface. Most tools most hand tools, it's easy to figure out what goes where. But the question here is, with a round stick, how do you figure that out? And that's why I like using the blades as a training tool.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Charlie Rodriguez. Okay, please answer this for me once and for all. Reverse grip or traditional grip? Okay. So I'll do that. Sorry, I'm late. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Okay. If we are, first of all, so I call this the front grip. I call this the back grip. I actually got this from Dr. G. Front grip comes out the front end of the hand. Back grip comes out the back. We can call it pakal or suck, or we have traditional reverse grip, whatever you want it to be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever you call it. If I only have one tool in my hand and it's deployed and everyone knows it's there, I want front grip. Back grip is a concealment grip. I can hide the blade. There is a mid grip where shit goes sideways. I did a video on this because I go to do a disarm. Their hand is on the handle. I do the disarm. I might be in this middle grip, but I can press and put a lot of pressure on this and still not cut myself. It's a vice grip. It's not a constrictive grip. But if I'm using like a spotty adaga or multiple weapons, I might do a mixed grip because now I might use this for a different aspect. But my personal position is that I want as much reach as possible. So that's the front grip for me. It gives me the biggest sphere of control and reach. And I don't think a lot of people out there are qualified enough to be teaching back grip material. I do the back grip and I train the back grip during some stuff because we want to have a game plan. If the knife is in that grip, we need to have a game plan. I don't want to poo-poo the back grip because I've used the back, like I said, the back grip for me, it's about concealment. I think that's the primary use. There's advantages to it, but once again, if you have two people squaring off and everyone knows weapons are involved, I want the front grip because I want more reach. I don't see where back grip is that much of an advantage, but once again, it depends on what it is. If no one knows I have a knife on me, yeah, I like the back grip because I can conceal it in my hand. Okay, here we go. I can do this and no one sees my hand or no one sees the knife. Now, of course, I wouldn't walk around like this. It's just from my hand down position, you might not see that at all. Okay, let me see here. Let's get caught up. Misty, just see this and then we'll ask you on yours.
I mean, I prefer the front grip as well. However, I will say this. If I want to really jam something, stab something in real deep and put the thumb over the end, it's essentially a reverse grip. But I'm not going to do that because I'm losing that weapon.
I will say this. Well, okay. My fear is that I hit something hard and the hand goes up on the blade.
Right.
I feel much better with this grip for stabbing.
Yep.
Okay. Much, much better. And then I could also
finisher.
I can also reinforce it with my other hand. So there's definitely advantage to that. So let's see what this one. My cousin says circular figure eight slashing combined with footwork is good when using the flat blade. Do you guys agree? Are you talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, using maybe a flat stick, or are you talking about using the flat side of a blade? I'm not exactly sure, but in general, yes, a circular figure eight slashing motion with footwork. I'm a big fan. Sure.
Okay, so let's go this one. Real battle skirmish tested techniques. Okay. Thank you, Archie. Let's do this. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, no problem, Charlie. I mean, like I said, and listen. So,
like anything, it's a preference, right?
Yeah. I mean, so here's the other one. Okay, so controversial topic. Far be it from me to stray away from that. I did a video on, I've done multiple videos on the karambit. I love my karambit, but I'm not a fan of fighting with a karambit.
Mhm.
I had 31,000 views on Facebook about why it was a cool drill to do with the karambit. I go, don't bother. Don't waste your time. That is a high skilled tool. And most people don't put the time and effort in to learn how to use it properly. And they see the cool flipping around. And there's people out there who's flipping around. And I watch their techniques and I watch some of their videos and I'm thinking like, who the hell are you teaching? Now, if you're teaching martial entertainment, which some of these guys are, by all means, but don't sell it as serious self-defense because you're teaching stuff to people that cannot replicate that. And, you know, when we were at the, one of our guys was at a high-speed knife clinic and they, someone pulled out a karambit and they were working on a cadaver of a pig. They go, all right, put it in there. And what they did is they did the back grit cut, just like they did on the Sayak karambit video. And when it was done on the video, I think Ray Dinaldo did, and he cut through a bunch of ribs that way. Well, that's fine when those ribs aren't attached to a real body. They just had a rack of ribs. Okay, you know. So this guy, he went to cut it, got stuck in the pig, and then the guy, the carcass, you know, grabbed the legs of it. You ready? And started shaking around to represent the body writhing in pain. And the guy said, wow, if it was any worse, it would have probably broken my finger or something.
Right. Or degloved.
Yeah. You know, take all that flesh off. So the problem here is a lot of people don't think about these things. And, you know, and people go nuts arguing about this. And I'm just like, dude, it's just my opinion. You don't have to like it. All the CELOT people came out of the woodwork. But the funny thing is, we were talking to Mike and May Williams, who are very accomplished CELOT people. And I'd say, hey, karambit, yay or nay. I'm like, you know what? They all know something. But all the masters seem to carry folding knives over karambits. So I think that should tell you something right there. But hey, what do I know?
But it's cool.
Let me see here. Okay. Boom. I don't know. I would say no unless there's some confirmation. Because I am not one of those guys that are going to claim him just because it's convenient to say, oh, look, it's Filipino dirty boxing. But once again, you know, there could be, but I don't know if Randy Couture has that kind of background. Richard, here we go. I was a knife fighter, but I was but what I learned was that the same angles, the distance is different, and you need much force with the knife because the distance is right. Okay, so I think if you do Filipino martial arts, and someone puts a blade in your hand, that you could be effective with it, but effective doesn't necessarily mean that you're efficient with it. And there's the other thing. So personally, I think doing one is the same as the other, but it's not. Let's do this here. At which point in a person's martial art journey would you know, going off as would the one doing the studying can consider them a deadly mother? Okay, all right. And then I do not like the karambit as a finger ring. It's not large enough.
He's a giant.
Yeah, he's a giant. And almost, karambits jumped the shark
Right.
when the gas stations started selling them. Karambit and knuckle. Yeah, yep.
My favorite.
Yeah, that's freaking hilarious. It jumped a shark.
But that's, I mean, so if we even this knife sidebar kind of falls back into the subject, and that is, you know, stick versus blade. What's the what, right? And so the what I think is that while some principles may help and compound and inform each other, I think the bottom line is that you got to train for the specifics of the tool in addition to the general principles. General principles, we can pick up anything. We can do whatever. We can be aware of, hey, we got pointy bits, you got sharp bits, you got hard bits, you got hooks, etc. But bottom line, when you want to really get good at the weapon you're specializing in, you need to train with that weapon and in the ways that take advantage of it. That's just my bottom line.
And there you go. Yeah, I let me I know what what I'm about to say is probably gonna wrap. I mean, we're at that point where I don't think there's much more to say about what we've said.
Right. Right.
Where's the DMV area?
I think that's DC, Maryland, Virginia. That's my area, Chad's area.
All right, so we got people in Fairfax.
Yep, that's me.
There you go. If that works for you.
You got Chad's up there in the border of Maryland,
Delaware.
Delaware. Yep.
So, so do you have any, okay. Okay. Can you use the same stick techniques with a hatchet or smaller? So yes, but the problem here is it's going to get stuck in the body.
Right. You can use some of them.
Here we go. Is Woodbridge near you?
I always forget where Woodbridge is. I'm in the Springfield Burke area myself. Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's a bunch of schools in Jersey.
Yep.
Direct message me. A good friend. Actually, Errol, where are you, Errol? Errol, you should be logging in right now. In Infinity Martial Arts, Errol is on there. In there, there's a few other places here and there. So definitely direct message me. And listen, those of you who are teaching out there, DM me or email me at datutim@gmail.com. I'm putting together a database so I can send people places because I get people asking all the time.
Yep.
I've helped a whole bunch of people around the world, including bringing someone right to Riddell de Guck while we were in the Philippines. Guy was doing private lessons with me, reached out to me. We did lessons, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing Sunday? Let's go see Riddell.
Yeah. If somebody's interested in FMA, if I don't know anyone that's doing what I do, as long as I know there's somebody doing FMA, I'm happy to give them that information. Because if you're interested in FMA at all, it doesn't have to be what I'm doing, but do it. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so do you have anything else you want to put out there? Like I said, I'm about to drop my little.
Let's see, stick blade. I think we covered everything. Some alignment, some natures of the strikes, some training, help.
I mean, this show is it's a no-brainer.
Yep.
It's not so this is a short show for us.
It's not controversial.
No. And next week is actually, we'll talk about that in a minute. So let me give you my opinion on things. I think doing the stick as the blade as a stick can be done if you pulled enough reps. So too many systems. I'll talk about this. I think Pikiti Tertia, here's me being controversial. I think Pikiti Tertia were doing things wrong for decades because they were using sticks, because we didn't have the training tools out there. Now, right now, people probably don't see that anymore because there's such good training tools out there. But when we came up, okay, I mean, we've got all these different training knives today. Ty, what was your first training knife?
A short, broken stick that I carved down.
Okay, and right. Mine was a Japanese tanto.
Oh yeah,
wooden tanto. And when you took your stick and shut it down, you really weren't doing knife. You were doing ice pick or screwdriver or stuff of that nature, which is fine. It's a great tool, but it's still not the same.
Well, the other one I used to use sometimes was the Chinese ring dagger. Unfortunately, that's double bladed.
But at least that is a good. To me, though, that would be a great training knife because you can actually see the blade.
Yep.
So we didn't have these things, and I would watch Pikiti Tertia try to do bladed type attacks with an impact tool, and unfortunately, the impact tool being in their hand made them swing like a stick and a hammer, and it was supposed to be a cutting blade, and they're doing impact like hits.
Right.
Now that the trainers are out there, I've seen the progressions, the evolution of the Pikiti Tertia people out there. Because, like, once again, I've got friends in all different systems, and we might not all agree on which is the best system for everyone, but we all agree that we love Filipino martial arts, and we share when we're around each other.
Yep.
and I've seen like Jack Latour, I've seen his evolution of his movement, not only just in becoming better over the years, but as the tools change, those tools change the way he moved based on actually having accurate representation of what he's doing. It's very evident when you start watching like the Dog Brothers doing knife fighting. They have those spatula type knives. They're really not representing it well. The tool is more of an impact tool, and that's how they use it. So I think the problem here is, like, personally, I can use a stick for a blade because I pulled enough reps with a blade. If you haven't pulled enough reps, then using one tool or the other, it's not going to be beneficial. I mean, no. Using one tool for both is not beneficial. You really need to have something, like I have my stick, I have my blade. And for those who are supposed to be using blade, if you're only using a stick all the time, you're probably not doing it right, because you're probably doing as an impact tool. If you've never trained for those who are teaching blade material, if you've never trained with an edged tool, that doesn't mean it has to be sharp. Just, something, a training knife, a training sword, not a round stick. If you've never put those reps in, then you have no clue what you're talking about, because you won't know where the side of the blade is. You might be lucky and be hitting with the proper surface area. But like when you're blocking, do you block with the flat of the blade? How do you know if you've always used a round tool? If I block here like this, that's edge on edge. But really what I should be doing is block, and not with a knife. I wouldn't block with a knife. I'd intercept the hand. But let's say if this is at the mass, I would block with the flat of the blade, because if I do edge on edge, now we can have a stress fracture and weapon system failure. So training one is not automatically the same. But if you've put enough reps in with everything, then you could use any tool and still have effective training.
And that's the key, I think. There are some things that are fairly close, right? For example, abanico with a stick or with a blade, right? The end of it and the flat of the blade doesn't really matter if it's the flat of the stick, but your alignment will be similar. That one kind of goes well. It's not exactly the same, but it's close.
So, no, and that's a good one right here. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I do abanicos with a blade, and people said, well, I'm teaching a seminar, like, why don't you twist the wrist and put the blade into the head? Well, first of all, it's going to get stuck.
Right.
And the reason why I do so the person can also be wearing a helmet, like a motorcycle helmet or something like that.
Right.
They're so close to me, I cannot get a power stroke. So what do? I do a flick with an abanico or two. That impact will drive the person back. Not necessarily it's the force, but getting hit, they move away. And that puts them in the range for that power stroke follow-up. I want to kick somebody. So what do? I punch them and back them away so I can kick them. All right. Or I'm close here. When I want to move someone back, I push them above the belly. When I want to keep them there and bend them over, I hit them belly and below, and I fold them. So you have to use your techniques the same way. The person's too close, I do an abanico, backs them up, stick or edge weapon. It puts them back. There's the power stroke for crushing. There's the power stroke for severing. So the abanico can be used with a short enough blade, but if it's too long of a blade, then you have to worry about bending the blade and having another weapon system failure.
There's another similar one. Puño strikes will be similar, but not quite the same, though, because you got to be a little bit more aware of the blade that you're managing while you use your puño to strike. So you got to be careful.
Yeah. And what you got going on here? What, is it a full tang? Is it not? I mean, there's a whole
what's
bunch
happening on the other end.
Yeah.
But Rich has a good point too.
Well, I haven't been watching any comments here. That one right there.
That's something when we usually always cover, but we didn't this time.
Body
work is different. Yeah. Shouldn't grab a blade. You can grab a stick, and that totally changes things. Like, for example, the stick dueling arts, right? There's a good reason that some of the things you might manage things with is done a certain way because it's a stick. You wouldn't do it the same way with a blade.
Yeah. Okay, so it is not a school. PG Ty teaches old school. He teaches out in the park.
Mhm.
What's the best way to get a hold of you, sir?
Well, here is great, or Facebook. Email works. The website has got all sorts of links. But
Actually, let me do this here. Hold on.
and actually, yeah, under my
Boom,
name,
there it
there
is.
you go. Website
www.kungfu.cc.
and the ties KF is the what do you call it?
Kung Fu.
The YouTube channel we have. But in any case, and there are other places around here too.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm probably closest to Fairfax proper.
Okay, here we go. Thank you both for coming on live and answering questions. I'm really interested in FMA. Dr. Tim, watching your videos on YouTube got me interested. Hey, thank you both.
Cool.
Charlie, thanks for watching, and we love hearing that input. We love hearing impact too, if it's done right. Okay, there we go.
There you go. Yep. Oh, that was me. Yeah.
So it's putting up there. I want to make sure I do it there. Okay. So I've said my piece. You've said your piece. Any last questions or any statements from you there, PG Ty, as we wait to see if anyone else has a question for us?
I think we covered all the things that we want to in a short program like this.
Yeah, it was actually
There are
really
a lot more
good.
details, but yeah.
Under an hour, which for those who are watching live on Instagram, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this regularly. It only gives me an hour on Instagram, and then it shuts it down. But I don't know if it's. I mean, I had a lot of people logged in over there that didn't come in over here, so that's actually a good way to get the word out.
Good.
I don't know what happens with the live videos, if they just disappear in the ether right away or if they're shared. I think they just disappear. But so here's okay. So I'm very snobbish when it comes to our martial arts. I'll be the first to admit that. So I want to talk about next week's show, and that has something to do with. So first of all, we are going to talk about the numbering system, the words of the day. But what I want to do is and I haven't Ty and I talk about this all the time, but we don't talk about this. You got to do your work. We're constantly talking about doing your work. And I want to talk about having accountability partners. So I have a board. Ty is a member of the board. Our group collectively keeps each other held accountable. We talk about different things here, there, and everywhere, whether it be from a theoretical place or where we're talking about integrity. We're talking about our martial arts. We constantly have things. We keep each other held accountable. Now, it's rough for me right now. I've got a torn rotator cuff and bicep surgery that I'm recovering from, so I haven't been doing much. But I want to talk about that next week and the importance of having that and what happens when you don't have it. So it's going to be I'm going to be a little porky on things. And just to give you a little peek, a heads up on this, I think a lot of people, once their teacher has gone, retired, or died, in our case, people get lazy. And, but we'll talk about that next week's show. Or I'm going to talk about what I think about the current state of the modern East community. Dan, we're leaving. we're wrapping things up, Dan.
He's in Florida time.
Okay. And we go here. You guys are great. Thank you, Datu, for sharing the Mastery FMA. Tanks for the video. I have videos of tanks. Oh, thank you. Listen, Ryan, thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to do it without this guy right here. I mean, I could do it. It's just so much nicer when I have a partner in this. And as Terrell, which he didn't talk in today, he's always saying that like he loves the two of us, that our chemistry between the two of us are really, really good. Okay. Bruce, good morning.
Magandang umaga.
Magando umaga. For us, it's Maganda Gabi, but that's okay. And we'll be talking about all those words as well. Well, then, good show. I'm sure.
So he's just happy that we're not going on and on.
Yeah. So next week, we will be doing a show at 8:30 p.m. talking about the importance of having an accountability partner. We'll also do the letter Q. No, that's Sesame Street.
And the number of the day. Well, we'll cover them.
Yeah, we'll have a whole bunch of numbers of the day. So, and then once again, if anyone has anyone that wants to come on the show, have them reach out to us. If there's a topic you're looking for, I'm going to be doing some of the topics that I've been doing on social media. I think there's some really good topics and dialogues in there. Maybe we'll do why I hate Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even though I'm going for my purple belt, but whatever. And the number 17. There we go.
Prime number man after my own heart.
There we go. Well, my favorite letter.
There was one last question that Matt actually, or not Matt, Mud had. That one's probably worth answering because.
Okay, let's do this, and then Christelle asked
wasn't a random joke. Yeah, that one. So, trainers for self-defense, because guess what? When you draw them, nobody knows it's not sharp, and so now it's a deadly weapon. They're going to treat it as such. Not a good idea. We've talked about that before, I think, too.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Some people swear by it, but my idea is don't ask for a problem that you didn't need.
Let's okay. I don't want to. That's the problem I have with Bram's knife, the crimp. Bram has a knife that is supposed to be used for corrections. That was his idea. I don't know of any facility that would actually do it. It has no sharp edges on it, but if an inmate gets a hold of a blade, trust me, they can put a blade on anything. And this is coming from people in corrections and law enforcement telling me these things. So the whole idea is that the blade is meant to be used closed. You can do all this stuff with it. When you deploy the blade, it's not sharp, so you could use it for more of a tool. You're standing in front of somebody. You pull this thing out. We in the modern arnis industry know about this because we know Bram. Who out there knows about this blade? We're less than 1% of the population. You pull out a trainer of any sort, or in this case, a non-sharp active tool. What are the odds of someone getting froggy and pulling a firearm and shooting you? Kids have been killed by pulling out toy guns because they look too close to being the real thing.
Yep, especially before the orange tip.
So how do you think that would go with a trainer?
Right.
Just saying. Okay, so let's do T3, LOL. Okay, here we go. Boom. You get this one.
Sure. So Christelle says, Remy Preces teaches the intricacies of Ocho, the figure eight style, and Polis, the arts of the past. Yeah, definitely. Remy's uncle Fredo introduced him to Bulentuac style. There were two schools teaching the style in the area. Remy began to learn the art under one of the top ranked practitioners, Timur Moraga. Actually, that was his second teacher in Bulentuac. His first teacher was Moncall.
Yes, Moncall was yeah. So you got put up from Moncall to Moraga, and then Moraga to eventually Anshan.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you will get shot. There we go. And that's why.
Wait a second. I wasn't sure that came from you.
All right. So
I thought that was a mud comment.
There we go. All right. So I think all is good. Yep. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Great show.
Yeah, thanks for the participation.
All right. Next week is going to be about accountability. So I've done a new thing with there's a few new bells and whistles put on this. We want to see if this works out well with it automatically. When I said go live, it played the intro for me automatically. It will see hopefully the outro. So with no further ado, this is Datu Tim
and PG Ty. Take care, everyone.
See you all soon.